Hello.
Hey, Dave, it's Rowan from Silver Tiger Media. How are you?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Excellent, thank you. It's been almost 2 years since we spoke. It's great to catch up. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, my friend, October 20 looms tomorrow, in fact, for us here in Australia. And what a phenomenal album, Cold Like War. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Glad you like it.
Oh, it's tremendous. Now, I have to ask about what's arguably your heaviest work ever on the track Encoder. Absolutely sensational. What was behind that track, and how did it unfold in the writing process?
In my opinion, I think that song was the most interesting to write because Kyle came into the studio hot. Like, he came in so excited on this track he had made, and his original plan was to use that song for his solo project. He's got like a dance kind of electronic EDM project that he'll go and play clubs and different stuff when he's off tour, and he was going to use it. But I guess like in the middle of the night, he got this idea to turn it into some kind of hybrid, crazy heavy, like just like beat down song, I guess, mixed with like EDM dance. And he came in, and we all looked at him like he was out of his mind. We were like, "What are you talking about?" Like, he's like, "No, listen to this. Like, this is where like the guitars could come in, and like this is where we could put a breakdown here." And he kind of like sang this riff he had in his head, and we were like, "I don't know, man." Like, we listened to it a couple more times, and then all of a sudden, like, it's like a light bulb went off in all of our heads. We were like, "Oh man, actually, that's a really good idea." And then it kind of clicked, and we ran with it, put some vocals on it, and it turned into something pretty incredible.
Oh, it did indeed. It's sensational. Thank you for the backstory, too. That's tremendous.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff going on in there, too. Like, the guitars are tuned extremely low, almost an entire octave below standard tuning. So they're tuned down to F. And then they didn't play the guitars with normal picks for parts of the song either. They used quarters.
Right. Wow.
So they sound pretty beefy.
They do indeed, no wonder. But the album has the whole spectrum of human emotion with the inclusion of Encoder. Intense love through to ferocious fury. I mean, for the band, is it representative of the difficult times that you've endured, particularly in the last couple of years?
Yeah, the band was we were just kind of in a bad spot for the last couple of years after our self-titled release. And I'm not saying people didn't work hard on that release or, anything like that. We learned a lot from it, and, we worked with some pretty cool people. It just seemed like everything we tried to do with it just, like, fell apart. People that worked for us were kind of dropping like flies, and it was strange. It just, like, nothing really clicked during the entire cycle, and we were kind of left with, like, this massive project, and we kind of got nothing out of it. And that was really disappointing, and that messes with your head as an artist. And, it made us kind of feel like our career was almost, I don't know, I guess like dwindling away. And that was a really terrifying feeling to work for something for as long as we have and kind of feel it slipping through our fingers. And, it left us very frustrated, angry, bitter, upset. Every kind of emotion you can think of in the last couple of years. So, I think that's a lot of that, ferociousness and anger and everything and sadness that comes through in the record comes from.
Oh, wow, that's brilliant. And hopefully, I can't get the word cathartic out of my head when I listen. Hopefully this has had a purging or healing effect for all of you as a group.
Yeah, it really has. There was a moment that, it was funny, I went and got a big bottle of wine with my girlfriend, and kind of just like, I guess in a sense having somewhat of a emotional breakdown, over, where am I going? What's this band doing? Like, do our fans care about us anymore? Like, is this something we're going to be able to carry on doing? And we shared a massive bottle of wine and kind of talked it over. And she was just like, you got to be all in or all out. She's like, make a decision what you want to do. And I was like, well, obviously this is like the only thing I've ever wanted to do. Yeah. So, she was like, well, then put your head down and make it happen. So, and the rest of the guys, I think, had similar stories, where they just had to come to that point, like, let's do it, and that's what we did. We had our backs against the wall. This record, a lot on the line, a lot to prove, and, we all put our heads down and drove forward.
Oh, wow. And it's obviously brought out the very best in you, of all of you, without a doubt. But I can only imagine what that's like, and I guess only somebody in music can appreciate having, for the debut album, 40 tracks written and only 10 making it to the cut. I heard Cold War must have been a very different experience to make.
Yeah, it was. Our last record, we wrote tons and tons of music and kind of sifted through it, picked the best songs. This record was a little different. We still did write a lot of music, and there was definitely something to make the record, but we didn't write as many. I think it was more like 15 tracks, and we narrowed it down to 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit different. I feel like this record, we had a better idea of where we wanted it to go before we even started writing. So it was a little bit easier to narrow down the songs we were writing and the styles they were. So that's why there was less songs.
Indeed.
Yeah, I enjoyed the writing process way more. We spent way more time on vocals and lyrics and melodies and stuff, and in the programming as well, which I think really sticks out.
It does too, and you've arrived, of course, at Sharptone Records, and the move has obviously been great for you. Did the move affect the writing process at all? Was it a better experience, for want of a better term?
Sorry, say it again?
Was it a better experience going through the writing process with under the Sharptone label?
Yeah, it was better. It was different, and that was refreshing. Equal Vision, the way they would work things, a lot of artists worked for us for a very long time too. They kind of have this mentality of, you're the artist, create what you want to create, and we'll come in at the end and tell you our thoughts.
Right.
And that was cool. It's nice that they give the artist that kind of freedom, but we were at a place in our career where we weren't entirely sure where we should go, and we kind of wanted some advice from our label. So it was cool. They were extremely involved through the writing process. They'd come by the studio a lot. They'd call us a lot. They'd share their opinions on the demos a lot. And throughout all that, they really helped us stay dialed in and stay on the course that they had envisioned for the record as well. And not to mention, they were so encouraging because, like I said, we were kind of at a point where sorry, I had to walk through this area. We were kind of at a point where we were we weren't feeling extremely confident. And so they were awesome with boosting our confidence and, telling us, hey, you guys are doing great. Do what you do.
Oh, wonderful. I'm so glad they did because I think you've produced such a fine, your best ever, in my opinion. It's sequenced so beautifully, opening with Vultures and closing with Promise Me, then followed by Learn to Survive. Did a great deal of work go into the sequencing aspect, or was it pretty straightforward?
It was definitely a lot of work and a lot more thought than we've done in the past, which is cool. I mean, we pretty much had a rough track listing down before the lyrics were even completed. We were still in the phase of, for the first 2 weeks we were in the studio, Josh, Andy, and I, we would just pretty much go all day to different places. We'd change it up between coffee shops, beaches, hikes on top of mountains, bars, breweries, wherever. We would change up our location every day, and we would spend 4 hours just journaling, different ideas, things that had happened to us in the last year, different stories that made us feel a different way. And we would write about it really descriptively in each of our journals. And, we'd all meet and talk about it. And after 2 weeks of that, we had just pretty much an entire book of stories. And we chose what we thought were the best ones and the ones we wanted to write songs about. And at that moment, we kind of knew what each song was about. And then we paired those lyrics with the music we had. We paired the ideas for lyrics with the music we had. And we had a basic track list before we even started writing real lyrics. So that was cool to do that, and I think it made the record flow better than anything we've done.
Without that, it's just like a story. It really is. Learn to Survive seems like such a great parting message for fans. Was that the intention of this track, to sort of finish with a track of intense fortitude building messaging?
Sorry, say it one more time.
Sorry about that. That was a bit of a confusing question, wasn't it? Lend Us the Virus just seems like a great positive to leave the album with or to finish off with. It tends to build a lot of courage in the listener. Was that an intention?
Yeah, it's such a. I think the record is a really good story of where we've been at the last couple of years, and it departs with the mentality we have now. We thought that was really important to end on that note. We want people to know that we're not still feeling the way we were, for example, at the start of the record with Vultures. I think that was a good example of where we were about a year and a half ago, and compared to now where we are, that's our mindset is more so towards learning to survive. Where we made these mistakes and everything, but we're not dwelling on them. We've learned to forgive ourselves for them, move on, and we've bettered ourselves for it. So I think that's the note that we were trying to leave the record on.
Oh, absolutely. You did so very sensationally, particularly when compared with, let's say, a recording like Dreams. It seems that Cold Like War has just represented the band's journey perfectly, from the lofty heights to the dark and pits of despair, and all culminated into this tremendous story. It just works on so many levels.
Oh, yeah, thank you. I think along the way, we've written so many songs, and we've had lots and lots of practice, and we've discovered what works, what doesn't work, and this record more so than ever, I think, we really put more thought to it, and it was really nice. One of the problems with being in a band in this day and age is you have your whole life to write your first record, and then after that, you always have these really strict deadlines, and things wind up getting rushed. And I think a big reason we were able to put as much thought into this record and as much heart as we did is because it was open-ended. There was no deadline. There was no time. It was just, all we had in mind was, it's a colder record, so we wanted a fall or winter release. And that's the only thing we had in mind for it. And so, we just kept booking more and more studio time, making everything right. And it was nice not to have to be it has to be done by April, which is usually the case, because you got to get it done by April to put it on Warped Tour, and then you wind up rushing 3 songs, 4 songs, and then you have these quote-unquote filler tracks. That was something we really didn't want. So it was nice to have this open-ended kind of schedule.
Oh, without doubt. And was there a point at any stage where you may have had, either collectively or as an individual, Dave, a realisation that you were in fact drawing from your strengths and you were in the middle of creating what was going to be essentially a brilliant album?
Yeah, I would say it took a long time to feel that way, because there was still a lot of songs that were in pieces. I kind of remember the moment. Vultures was undergoing open heart surgery. It was on its sixth vocal rendition. It's 4th chorus rendition. It was just, that song was a nightmare. It almost didn't even make it at all.
Wow.
And I think Lost in the Moment was on its 10th rendition. But we had Cold Like War completed. We had Foreign Fire completed. I think Lost in the Moment's the chorus was almost done. So when those songs all kind of came to life, Learning to Survive was completed too. When those songs all came to life, we were like, guys, I think we're onto something here. And our label was starting to get excited, guys, these singles are incredible. And we were like, okay, cool, let's keep going. We're getting there. And I think it was a week after that Vultures came to life, Lost in the Moment came to life, and these other songs kind of fell into place as well. And that's from there it was just kept feeling better and better,
Just sensational. To have that backstory is brilliant. And of course, speaking of releases, you released the title track and video on 9/11. I'm presuming that was no coincidence, considering it's an album about diversity and of course the significance of the date.
Yeah, it's that was coincidence. We try not to get too political with anything.
Sure.
A lot of people have different views and stuff, and we're more about the human spirit, I guess, than a government or anything along those lines.
Sure, yep, absolutely understood. Well, the numbers speak for themselves, of course. Over 800,000 views, and I've worked it out, literally 99.95% of the community loving it. You must be happy with the response.
Yeah, it's shocking is what it is. I mean, we've never released anything with that kind of reaction. I mean, I feel like any band, when they drop something, like every few comments you get a negative one, and that's fine. It's the way that you got to think of it is people that love it usually don't comment they love it. It's the people that hate it that are vocal about it. And that's fine. That's kind of the mentality. And to be honest with you, I never read our YouTube comments or any comments ever because they're frustrating to me. But these are the first releases where I've been like, my bandmates were like, dude, there's like no bad comments. And I'm like, really? So then I went and I had to see it. And yeah, there's like no bad comments on anything. And that's just incredible. And I kind of started getting that vibe because even on my personal stuff, sometimes some of that hate goes over there. And like I'll post a picture of like something random. And sometimes, someone will be like, oh yeah, like missed the old week car or whatever, but it's been crazy lately. I mean, anything I post, completely irrelevant to the band. Even I'm getting people that are like, incredible job. This is your band's like career high record. Like this is insane. I'm just like, wow, man, this is awesome. I didn't know the internet could be so nice.
Yeah, on occasion, yeah, allegedly. But it is little wonder because you've created such a tremendous album. Your own delivery on Encoder is, I've got two words that keep coming up, honest and powerful. I hope it's not too intrusive a question, but do you draw on anything in particular when you're belting out Encoder?
It's hard to say. That song's probably, when it comes to emotionally, that song is, what's the word? Like it's not drawn off a specific emotion like a lot of the other songs are, or a specific story. I mean, that song's just about like, being strong, like pulling yourself back up, getting back up and get knocked down. And I think it kind of hit home because that was the last song I recorded vocally to the record. And at that moment, it was kind of freeing to sing that song because I was like, I kind of felt like I had left a lot of those troubles behind me. And so I guess if there's anything that got pulled from that, it was kind of that moment of just being like, hell yeah, that's behind me. I'm back on my feet.
Oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. You're just getting rid of all of that angst. That comes across beautifully. Now, you're touring at the moment and playing in Portland, Maine tonight, which is yesterday, our time. It's weird, right?
Oh, I know. You're in the future.
But because we're in the future, I can tell you your show tonight is sensational, so you can relax on that one. How have live audiences been reacting to new songs? Have you been able to play a few for them?
Yeah, we're playing Wasted Age, Cold Like War, and Lost in the Moment right now. And, it's sensational. Just, watching these songs come to life live. And especially a song like Cold Like War where it's designed to be a call and response kind of song between us and the crowd. And watching how many people already know this song and know so many of the words, and it's awesome. I love it. I love seeing it catch on the way that it has. I don't think we've ever had songs catch on as quickly as these. I mean, arguably our biggest and most popular song is Hope. And even Hope took like 3-4 months to really catch on. And these songs are already gaining momentum, which is pretty awesome.
It speaks volumes, doesn't it? Absolutely brilliant, and you deserve it too. You're travelling with Hypervale right up until... Oh, my pleasure. You're travelling with Hypervale right up until October 30. Any chance you could just, jet on down under the day after to play this collection for us?
Yeah, there's actually like several parts of the world that are apparently requesting this tour to just go there too. And I told Hypervale, I was like, let's do it, man. Let's do it. World tour. Come on. And it kind of sucks because they're kind of nearing a point with like their most recent release. So I think they're gearing up to go back into the studio. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I know we're kind of at different points on our releases. Like we're about to release and we're about to go nuts on this tour cycle, and I think they're kind of about to start wrapping theirs up. So I'm not sure, but I mean, I've definitely talked with them, and I'm like, guys, we should like bring this to at least some other part of the world. This tour is awesome. you know, we're pulling like over 2,000 people a night. It's been insane. So, I mean, I feel like it would be successful in a lot of parts of the world.
It would be too, going by the popularity, and everyone's going nuts at every show. I realise you're pushed for time, Dave, and we very much appreciate you giving us some time today. Congratulations on this album. We wish you and the band every success. You deserve every bit of it, and I've no doubt this is just going to launch into the stratosphere.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much.
My pleasure indeed. Please travel safely, my friend, and all the best for the rest of your tour.